What's going on, everyone? Syndicate Boogie here. Konnichiwa, Syndicate Boogie desu. Welcome to another Space Signals. I've got an Xpress Transmission for you guys today. I wanted to talk to you about the three things that really stood out to me in PS118. I listened to the song on repeat yesterday and today, and I viewed the music video quite a few times. So, there's not going to be a full deep dive. I just want to talk to you about the three things that really stood out to me, three takeaways, and let me know if you thought the same, or if maybe I missed something, or if there's just another way of looking at things. So, without further ado, the first takeaway that I got is that PS118 doesn't have a chorus. To me, that's a flex. To me, that's a statement, and I definitely think that that was intentional. The entire song is Jurin and Rapsody going back and forth, passing the mic. It's like they were doing sparring, and they didn't need breaks in between the rounds. It's just one long round. They were going back and forth, and I really think that was intentional to showcase their skills and abilities. You think about the structure of a song, and PS118, people were thinking, oh, it's a relatively shorter song, it's 2 minutes and 40 seconds, but if you take away the chorus, it's 2 minutes and 40 seconds of straight bars. If it were a song that were maybe a little bit longer but had a chorus, it might have taken away from showcasing the abilities and artistry of Jurin and Rapsody to the degree that they showed it in this song. So, first of all, I think it's a flex in that level, but also I think it's a flex because they're telling us they don't need a chorus. They don't need that type of hook for this kind of song to capture our attention. Generally, when you think about the chorus and the hook, those are usually the parts of a song that people remember. They are trendy, they're catchy, and also more often than not, especially for the more poppy, dancey songs, that's the section that usually is reserved for TikTok and dance challenges nowadays. Well, at least for this specific song, I think they really thought about what they wanted to convey, and they did away with the chorus and said, hey, look, we're just gonna go straight through this song and deliver the best bars that we can, deliver the best chemistry, the best message, and the best symbolism. And I really appreciate, respect, and admire them for that. So that's my first takeaway. My second takeaway is that throughout the song, they did not once reference PS118. And again, I think that was intentional. Lately, the XG team has been doing things to really spark conversations, spark discussion, whether it's a QR code or the reveal of a character or symbol. Now, with PS118, they give us this acronym and let us try to discuss and figure it out. And to this day, we don't have a firm confirmation as to what PS118 references, but there are definitely some solid theories out there. One is that PS118 is definitely a biblical reference to Psalm 118. Gala has these lines from Jurin where she talks about open up the gates for me, and there's very similar language within Psalms 108. So, and that's symbolic of where we are in XG's story. I feel like we're going to be entering this new arc of their evolution and their artistry. So that's one layer. The other theory is that recently on Instagram, Chancellor wrote a tribute and a congratulations message to Jurin on the release of this single. And they talked about how they started production on this on November 18th during the Manchester show. So exactly 1 year it took to produce this. So you think about this one single moment, it took that much time and effort. That lets you know the amount of time and effort they put into this. But if you look at it, November 18th is really 1118. Okay, so it doesn't fully translate, but it's a good reach. It's viable. I think it's reasonable. But I really appreciate the way that XG has been doing the rollout of not just their album, but of this song, and the way that I've seen ALPHAZ come together in a way that I haven't seen before. It's really making us sit down, open our brains, open our minds, and try to discuss and figure things out together as a team and as a community. And I hope that they stick to these practices for future releases. I kind of feel like they are. They're definitely planning this whole Easter egg thing, and it's touching the Dark Souls fan in me. If you've ever played those video games, they don't give you any context to anything. They just drop you into this world, let you explore and figure it out on your own. They don't hold your hand or anything like that. So there's a learning curve to those games, and because they do that, it makes the experience more personal. Not knowing what these items do or what this weapon does fully, it lets you, in your mind, create your own lore and storyline about these things, and your own personal connection. And I feel like in doing this with XG's content, everyone's experience is going to be a unique one, personal to them. So, I remember when PS118 dropped, I'm going to be thinking about the things that people were saying, the theories that were coming out. So, once again, I really like the way that things have rolled out, and I hope that they continue this practice moving forward. My third takeaway is probably the deepest one. It might be a reach, but I feel like it's not. And I feel like this music video exists in either multiple realities or multiple timelines. If you look at the flow of the video, you don't truly see Jurin and Rapsody existing in the same space and in the same time. They are occupying the same space, but it looks like it's in different times. Like, for example, the very beginning, Jurin is posted up against this wall, and it's in black and white, and then when she finishes her first set of bars, then you go into Rapsody. She's on the same post, but now the background is in color, and she is giving out her verses. So it makes you feel like, maybe this happened in a different time or even a different reality. And then later in the video, you see there's this panning shot. Rapsody is spitting her bars this time, and you see a group of birds flying in the sky. And then when it transfers over to Jurin, it's just one bird. So once again, this kind of split reality, but still in the same space sort of feel. So I feel like there are themes of split realities, but also convergence and coming together. Because the last scene that really made me think about this is when you see Rapsody in the DeLorean. You hear Jurin's lines, but this time it's Rapsody on screen, and she's lip syncing them. And then when the DeLorean door comes up, then Jurin is the one finishing the lines. So it's almost like they're converging, they're merging, and they're completing each other's bars. And I really, really felt the weight of that, just thinking about what they were trying to convey and what they were trying to communicate to us. Almost like this dual identity, or existing in this same space and communicating things with the same energy. We talked about how Rapsody being featured here was such a big cosign and statement towards establishing XG's credibility in hip-hop. Well, symbolically, I feel like this is another version of that. With them kind of merging into one and merging their mindset, almost completing each other's bars. I feel like, that duality and represents like a connection between, Rapsody's experience and her pedigree, her lineage. It's almost like a handoff. It's an acknowledgement, it's a sign of respect, and it's sharing the same space, but from different times. Back to the Future. I haven't found the most perfect way to convey how I feel about it, but I think you guys understand where I'm getting at here. Pretty much, my theory is that this video is existing in the same space, but in different times. And if you look at even the teaser in the restaurant, we don't even know if Rapsody is even looking at Jurin in there, or if they're overlapping her experience with the restaurant with Jurin's experience in the restaurant. Because when Jurin looked at us, Rapsody did not look at us. So who knows? I might be reaching, or maybe that was the closest that they came together, and because of that, when Jurin looked at the screen, it cracked. Pretty crazy when you think about it. This is the one takeaway that I've been thinking about the most among the three of them. Let me know what your thoughts are below. I kind of dragged this on again. This was supposed to just be like an express, but hopefully this was of value to you. This is how impactful the song is for me, and I really hope that if this level of song that almost kind of has a learning curve, if this is a new experience for a lot of listeners, that I really hope that this is really opening their minds up to appreciate and understand and grow in terms of seeing what's out there from a musical standpoint, and the level of messages and symbols that you can really communicate through this type of work. So okay, with that being said, that's my 3 takeaways. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Until the next transmission, peace.